Look, I want to move on to another story now that I'm still amazed does not, and I think I'm going to look back, it's going to be one for the history books. Since January of 2022, Maricopa farmer Tom Phillips has been on the run with his 3 children. That's January 2022. From what we can gather, there was some sort of domestic disagreement or family court matter, and Tom Phillips took his kids and he went bush. And despite the best efforts of police and thousands of dollars in reward money, he is still, and his kids are still at large. He's wanted for questioning in relation to an armed robbery and some other crimes, and he may be in breach of a family court order, though details of that are murky because of the suppressive nature of family court proceedings. Latest thing, a sighting and some video of Tom and his kids with big packs on in the bush near Maricopa. I think it's such an interesting story, and I think there's clearly a much bigger story behind it. But I wonder too, and it's long been speculated, that the only way he could be doing this is with help from the outside or help from his community. And I thought it'd be really interesting to try and talk to someone from that neck of the woods, from that community, about what locals think and how they view this news story. So we're joined by John Robertson. John is the mayor of the Waitomo district. John, thank you for taking the time to yarn with us this morning, mate.
You're welcome, Sean.
All right. Gosh, this thing, it really is quite the story, isn't it? And now we have, the video footage which only builds the legend. Can I ask you, John, what do you believe is the community's general feeling about Tom Phillips and what he's done or what he continues to do?
Look, there's differing views within the community. I mean, there's those that I think the common thread is we probably all feel for the children and want the best for the children. They're moving. This is now 3 years, a bit before your time. Their car was on the beach.
Yeah.
So, before so that was 21.
Yeah.
So I guess as the children move, this is year 3 into teenage years. We want the best for them and to get some schooling and healthcare and so on. But in terms of, support or otherwise for Tom, maybe there's a feeling it'd be good if it was resolved. But there are some in the community too that, support Tom or don't necessarily believe the allegations, sometimes the bank robbery and things like that.
Yeah.
Split views.
Yeah. And I think he's become, John, a lot of people have interpreted it, and I'll be honest, particularly a lot of men who have fallen foul of what many feel is a very unfair family court system when it comes to, access for fathers, property settlements, accusations of domestic violence or whatever. They feel that Tom is carrying, or I think unintentionally, he now carries the flag for a bunch of men who feel hard done by our family court and our court system when it comes to custody and matrimonial property and things. And that's probably not his intent, but that's certainly part of the vibe I pick up online about him.
Yeah, I think that would be that's fair. The custody issue, was with Tom and his parents, I think, earlier days. Yeah. That's for the courts to sort out. But we just I don't really want to go into that. But
is he a hero to some people? Do you think, and some people in your community?
Well, I'm old enough to think back to the George Wilder days, if you recall that, the prison escaper. So there's probably a little bit of that. But in the community, it's not something that's discussed every day or worried about. It's every 6 months or so something happens, and so the story gets raised again, and people chat. It's not something that that we're bothered about day by day.
Yeah,
it's really frustrating for the police, obviously.
Let's be honest; they look a bit silly in all this, John.
Well, it is frustrating. I do get briefed by the area commander every so often on this, and it is frustrating for them when you think the award went out, then this sighting the other day, or alleged sighting. Very frustrating.
Yeah. John, I was also thinking and speculating on this program the other day that perhaps the way to end this, and gosh, there have been some fanciful suggestions, helicopters, the SAS, I don't know, native trackers, all sorts of whack job ideas, and throwing the army in huge numbers with night vision goggles or whatever, or heat-seeking, things. Isn't perhaps an amnesty for Tom or a negotiation the best way to draw this to a conclusion?
Look, funnily enough, I was talking to someone yesterday about this too, and just thinking it through, is it a solution that Tom Phillips would want? Because you still, if this is all about a custody battle, how do you then deal with that? I think, look, we need a solution. Again, I sort of throw it back to the police. They've tried the reward thing. Is there another way? When you think of the resources being put in, it would be good to find another way through it.
Yeah, and say to Tom, look, Tom, we will forgive you, or we will not ask questions about this. You won't be liable for this or that if you bring the kids back, and we'll give you and in the family court we'll give you a fair. It just seems to me that negotiation, given his ability, to be honest, to evade detection, it seems to me that's the only practical option left, and it really, as far as I know, hasn't been tried.
Yeah, no, that's I think that's worth thinking about.